So, why a helmet? A helmet because I love rent scooters. I love electric scooters. Um, but probably the first time I got on a scooter now is about, I don't know, a few years back, 7 or 8 years ago. And the first time I got on a scooter, I went down. Um, Not horribly, but close enough. And I just thought, you know what? Wear a helmet when you're on these things. I ride bike. I'm late to getting on my bike this year, but it's like always wear a helmet on the bike. So why wouldn't I on a scooter? Because those things, you can get up to like 15, 20 miles an hour on one of those things. You can die on one of those things. So I wear helmets on those things. But why was I on a scooter? I was on a scooter because actually a while ago, I sat here and I was recording and I was just rambling on about all kinds of stuff. And I didn't feel like I was I was all over the place. And it's all over the place. And maybe that's interesting to somebody. I just didn't feel like it was going anywhere. So I thought, this is Friday night. Now, for months now, usually on Friday, I get together with a good friend, and we get together and we do a happy hour, and we drink wine and we whatever, but mostly we go to Busboys and talk and get deep into it. And we drink wine. We drink red wine. And she couldn't come out tonight because she's sick. So she's home watching she's watching The Hobbit, not The Lord of the Rings. I'm here. I thought I would do this. And I was kind of rambling on and getting nowhere. And I thought, stop. Go get a bottle of wine because you want at least a glass of wine on a Friday. Anyway, a couple of times I've come home with a few drinks in me, and I've really felt like, wow, I'm going to sit down and like fire up the camera and post something. I did a drunk one a couple of weeks back. So anyway, what I'm going to do right now is crack a bottle. I'm going to have a glass or two, and I'm going to come back. Earlier, I mentioned that recently I've had a Friday tradition of getting together with my friend Monica and doing happy hour, where we typically drink a lot of red wine and talk a lot. And it's a whole fun thing. It's been years since I've done anything of a regular sort of going to a bar with somebody drinking, where we know the bartender and she's great. And, it's been years since I've had that sort of hanging at a bar thing, and it's a lot of fun. And we talk a lot, and it's great, and it gets really animated, and it's a lot of interesting stories. That's been going on for a few months. But for years, Friday was, for me, if I wasn't going out and doing something, then typically I would stay in. Friday, there's music in the background, and that's WPFW, which is the station here in Washington, D.C. It's the Pacifica station, which is, I'm adjusting the fire. I'm poking the fire. Anyway, Friday night, the lineup on PFW for years has typically been great, even with all the changes PFW's gone through over the years. Otherwise, their Friday program and really their Sunday program, if I'm not doing anything, it's on. And usually that would be if I was just hanging out by myself on a Friday, if I wasn't doing anything else, I'd order a pizza and hang out and have some wine, eat some pizza, watch a movie, play guitar, do something. And that was a Friday thing for a long time. So earlier, the first part of this thing, I was just kind of rambling, not totally unlike how I'm rambling right now, but I do have a point. Thinking about doing this mouth thing, this tooth thing, this whole... my mouth is what kicked this all off, and yet I really don't have a very clear picture of why I'm posting videos and what I'm doing. As I mentioned, I'm a huge podcast fan. I can talk a lot about that. As between cutting off the first video and coming back right now, I've had some wine, not a lot. This is like my second big glass. Got a little buzz going, got the fire going. But I was watching two podcasts live. I was watching this guy Metatron, who's on YouTube, and he basically talks about history, about medieval and ancient history, and he's very engaging. He's got a lot of followers, and he was just doing a live stream talking about Iran and Iraq and the missiles and all of that. And he's doing a live chats, and he's got a lot of followers. So all these people are asking questions, and it's really kind of interesting. And then I watched Bridget Fetisi, who's a comedian who does a lot of content, and I like her a lot. I've followed her for a while now, and I'll maybe put a link down there to both of those folks. Now, yeah, this is about my teeth and my mouth and my funky teeth and all that kind of stuff. But today, where's my head? My head's about war, you know, not just, well, the war that's like at the top of the list right now is Israel and Iran throwing missiles at each other. So my feeling about this right now is almost kind of more interestingly just the military thing that's going on, the intelligence and the military that it took to do the thing, and how, and they do the thing, and then Iran responds, and we're all watching, and I'm watching videos online of like missiles falling, and it's just crazy. And then tomorrow, the whole Trump parade thing, which is really interesting, as well as all of the No Kings demonstrations. I think what I really wanted to bring up was that I live in DC, and I've always lived in DC. I've grown up around DC. So anything about spectacle in DC, about demonstrations or any of that kind of thing going on downtown, is just something that has been a part of life for so long that, of course, I have opinions about loads and loads of tanks going down Constitution or Pennsylvania, whatever the route is, Avenue. But it's also, it's the spectacle of DC. It's the craziness of demonstrations and the whole legacy of that. If I went down, it would just be to see what it looked like, and it just seems like too much of a hassle, and it's a couple of miles in that direction, but I kind of don't care. I also don't care about the other side, the No Kings thing in terms of demonstrations, but the world that I live in is what's really preoccupying me. Now, as that's all going on, my tongue is in my mouth, feeling my teeth, and I'm, ever constantly aware of the teeth in my mouth, and it's like anything where it's something is going on with your body and it's not right and it's not normal, so you can't ignore it. So you think about it a lot, but then you think about it so much that it kind of becomes this background noise. But then it comes to the surface, and then it goes back into the background. But it's always there because it's my mouth, and I can feel. I'm in no pain. I'm not feeling any. Sometimes I have soreness, but nothing unusual. It's more just knowing where this is all headed. But I live in a world where all of this stuff is going on, and it's crazy. And it's most of what I'm about is sort of trying to get some context for my life. I can't help it. I'm a news junkie, so stories happen and I got to follow them. And in the world at this point, in terms of getting information and finding out what's going on. Meanwhile, there's the reality of my life, that I'm this body and that I've got this thing that I've got to deal with. And I have a cold or something. Monica, the reason we're not like hanging out at a bar, the reason I'm doing this and I'm not hanging out is because she's not feeling good. And she's like not feeling good, like she has had a fever and all this kind of stuff. And I kind of don't feel good either, but it's kind of like this cold or something. And it occurred to me a minute ago that, wow, should I do like a COVID test? Maybe I'll do a COVID test. It's sort of a mild, snuffy nose, sort of cold sort of feeling. But the time that I had COVID before, it was like kind of no big deal. It just sort of tapped my energy. My energy feels okay though, which also plays right into the body thing, because 5 years ago, everybody, we were all in this thing together, no matter what we thought about it, that there was this sort of invader, and our bodies were our bodies were Iran, and the COVID was coming, and this virus, and how you could or couldn't get it, and what you could do to sort of make it better if you got it, and just all of the stories, and we all lived through that thing. But at the heart of it is this idea that you're a body, and there's a thing in the world that you don't want in your body. And then I'm in this moment now where, well, I'm dealing with this thing about my body that is, well, unique. It's not unique in the sense of other people aren't going through it too, because I've checked that out. I mean, I go on Reddit, You start doing any kind of looking into any, we all know, you start looking into anything, and all of a sudden on your feeds, all of a sudden there's all of this stuff on my feeds about like teeth. It's crazy. This toothpaste, this red light thing, that red light thing, this gel, this toothpaste, all of this thing, it is always, we have this thing that, we know what you're going through, but you try this thing and it's going to make it better. There's a lot of snake oil around what I'm dealing with. I can only imagine what other people in the world who have a similar condition or a similar situation are going through in terms of contemplating, like, how am I going to take care of this? How am I going to take care of this thing, which is just like a load of money, a lot of in your mouth, people doing stuff. And how am I going to do that? Meanwhile, I got to live my life and go to work and do all this stuff. And I've got to think about the world. I don't have to think, but I can't help it. I have to think about the world that I'm in. Especially when honestly stuff is going on where, in my life as a 62-year-old human being who lives in Washington, D.C., where kind of thinking about like wars and the big war has been kind of on and off in the background my entire life. There's been other points where it was like, oh my God, is the big one going to happen? Because this or that's happening in the world. The idea that in my life there's always been points, and where the doomsday clock is how far to midnight. And the doomsday clock right now is like, I think as close to midnight as it's ever been for a couple of years now. And I think everybody's got that in their head. I think that everybody sort of understands that there are these really extremely high stakes things going on, and they have their opinions and they get caught up in it or not caught up in it, however they do. But intuitively, people understand, wow, this is really could be serious. Places that have nuclear weapons are very volatile right now. All right, there's all of that. And then it's sort of like, okay, but I also have to kind of put all of that aside and think, well, yeah, but I got to take care of my mouth. I got to do this. I got to sort of, how do I finance this? How do I get people on board? What is this thing that I'm doing with talking online about it? What is all of this about? And, coming to terms with that, in terms of me feeling like, who am I to sort of reach out into the world of people just to sort of say, get 40,000 people to give me $1, 20,000 people to give me $2, 10,000, all of that. So, from the earlier rambling thing that I did where I cut it to have some wine, to watch Metatron and Bridget Phetasy, to this, I'm going to edit this thing. Kind of an improvement. I'm still rambling. I'm still all over the place. It's still ridiculous. This weekend is going to be crazy. All weekends are crazy lately. I mean, is this going to be crazier? I don't know. What I know is that I kind of feel like, I kind of feel a little off. Maybe like I have a cold. Not terrible. So I'm probably going to take care of myself, sort of hang in. Anyway, it's going to be a crazy weekend. And whatever you're doing out there, if you're watching this now or over the weekends, try to stay human. Try to remember to stay human. Try to remember to be compassionate for people, even the ones who make you crazy. Figure out how to love people, even if you really, really don't like them. And what does it mean to do that? My mom, at some point, if I really keep doing this and start talking about family, I'll talk about my mom. My mom had a lot of sort of catchphrases that she used to always say. And one of the things she always used to say was, when you think about loving your neighbor, sometimes that means just leaving them alone.